Hello, welcome back to Calm AF. Last week, we talked about your nervous system's dispatcher, the one who is filtering all of the information coming from the outside world and deciding whether or not it's an emergency. And we talked about how most people these days, for lots of reasons, their dispatcher isn't filtering any of it anymore. She's just sending the hazmat unit to everything. Someone texted you back and just said, K, hazmat team. And this dispatcher hasn't slept in years and is overwhelmed and exhausted. She doesn't have the capacity anymore to filter anything through. She is just sending everything to this is a full emergency. If you haven't listened to that episode, go listen to that. I told you this week that I was going to give you 5 clear-cut signs that your dispatcher is chronically dysregulated. Not falling apart, not messes everywhere, and you haven't brushed your hair in 7 weeks. Just a chronic dysregulated nervous system. I think it's important to know the difference between being a regulated person who occasionally gets triggered and being a person who lives in chronic dysregulation and thinks this is just normal, this is just how I operate. Because if you are a person who spends most of your time in that regulated Calm AF sweet spot, then all of the tools that you have been learning will help you very quickly return to a regulated state when you're triggered. You are not ever going to spend all of your time perfectly regulated. You're human, right? You're going to swing a little. A rough night's sleep, hard conversations, hormones. That's normal fluctuation. And being Calm AF, being regulated, means you return to the sweet spot. Chronic dysregulation is different because you're not just having blips of time where you move out of your regulated state. You spend most of your time either hypervigilant or hypovigilant with the occasional blip or the occasional swing through regulated. It's like you're forever managing your symptoms instead of treating the root cause. So here are some very simple signs to indicate that you may be in a state of chronic dysregulation. Number 1, everything feels big. When you are regulated, you are able to decipher whether or not this is a big thing. Chronic dysregulation, everything feels big. Big things feel big, small things feel big, tiny things feel big. Someone sends you an email that isn't full of exclamation points. Someone just responds back with, good job, no punctuation. That email will land like criticism. Someone sending K, a text back that says K, will feel like rejection. Your partner sighs across the house and your body is already preparing to fight or flee or freeze. You don't consciously think this is dangerous, but your body goes there. Before you even notice the thought, the dispatcher has already clued the rest of the body. That response on the email, I think she might be mad at me because your dispatcher stopped asking question 1, is this an actual emergency, long ago. She just patches everyone through. What does that cause? Inflammation, negative mental rehearsal. So you are further hardwiring your neural pathways, all because someone paused just a microsecond too long before responding. If neutral feels dangerous, that is not just your personality. That is not just because you're so intuitive. That's chronic dysregulation. That's like peak chronic dysregulation. Okay, so that's sign number 1. Everything feels like a big deal. Sign number 2, you lose time. So you were fine. You were just living your life, doing your normal Tuesday things, and then something happened, a comment, thought, a memory, and you disappear. You disappear into thought ruminating. You disappear into a shutdown, scrolling. I'll just deal with this later. And hours go by, sometimes days. I call this the dysregulation blackout, where all of a sudden you come to and you're like, what just happened? Where am I? What day is it? That's not a discipline issue. It's not a productivity issue, like, oh, my attention span, my focus. That is a nervous system that took control so that higher level thinking was offline and autopilot was just running, whether that autopilot was ruminating or eating or shopping. That's dysregulation. People who are chronically regulated, chronically calm, they get pulled, but chronic dysregulation feels different. It's like you get absorbed. Okay. Sign number 3, you just can't let things go. I cannot tell you how many people, when I say allow it, let it be, people want to really fight me on this because people really have created an identity around this. They're like, I'm just a big feeler. I care very deeply. I have a strong sense of justice, very high standards. I have anxious attachments. It's hard for me to let things go. I just hold them forever. All of those things can be true, but underneath it, you've just practiced holding on to things and convinced yourself that it's responsible. Holding on to things feels protective. If I keep thinking about it, I won't get blindsided. If I stay vigilant and I hold every single thing that's ever happened to me that I've done, if I stay vigilant, then I stay safe. So when you have practiced holding on to things, when I say the path to peace is to radically just accept this is what's happening, I know people want to punch me in the face. Your dispatcher thinks acceptance or letting go of old thoughts and stories and drama is irresponsible. So that's a sign, chronic dysregulation. Number 4, dysregulation spillover, meaning when something goes wrong, it spills over into everything. It doesn't stay neat and tidy. So you wake up late, and instead of that being a thing that happened today, it spills over and the day feels ruined. I talked to a client on Monday and she was like, my week's already ruined and here's why. You step on the scale and that number decides your mood. One strange interaction and suddenly you are questioning your entire life. You have a goal and someone says, are you sure you can achieve that? And now you are questioning your life trajectory. Chronic dysregulation does not stay in neat little boxes. It's like slime. A small ball of it looks like it'd just stay in a small ball, but if you don't put it in a container, it will just spread and take up all the space in the container. It's not, I woke up late and now it stays in the little container of wake up late. It takes up all the space in the container being your body. Just like quietly, slowly, like oozing its way through. Regulated emotions have containers. Chronic dysregulation just spreads. And when everything feels connected to everything, you start trying to manage everything. This is where energy managing comes in. So you're trying to manage your tone and their tone, and you're trying to manage your productivity and the future and your image, all of it. Okay, number 5, your tools feel fragile, temporary, like they definitely have a shelf life. You'll feel better for a day, maybe a week, and then something small happens, and you're like, welp, I guess that tool doesn't work for me either. So you throw it back in the toolbox and you go out to try and find another one. Let me listen to another podcast about this problem of mine that nothing seems to be fixing. It's not the tools. The reason why your tools feel fragile or temporary is because you're using them to survive dysregulation instead of using them preventatively. When you are a chronically calm person and something dysregulates you, you are out and someone yells at you in the grocery store, you can grab a tool, use it, and bring you back to center. Chronic dysregulation, you are using tools to survive the day. It's the Band-Aids over bullet holes analogy. It's very different energy. If your baseline is like, oh my God, I have to stay calm, I need to be calm, no tool is ever going to feel sturdy because you're trying to regulate the external world instead of recalibrating your own system. And this is where I want you to zoom out. Of course you're exhausted. Of course peace feels not only complicated, but slippery. It's because you've been trying to regulate the entire environment. When you start practicing and committing to changing your nervous system, the first thing that happens isn't that your partner starts acting better. It's not that all the people that are being assholes at work start being nice. It's that you realize your peace is much simpler than you thought. Because when your dispatcher trusts herself again, when she's slept, when she's resourced, when she's asking, okay, before I send the hazmat unit, is this an actual emergency? Everything changes. You respond instead of react. You have a hard morning and it just stays a hard morning, not a ruined week. What you've been trying to do is manage the energy of all of the things that are happening outside of you. You don't need to manage everything. You only need to manage one thing. It's recalibration. You stop trying to regulate the world and you start regulating your own system. Just today in our call, in Calm AF Life, we have a dear, lovely woman who has had a doozy of a year so far. And it's the middle of February. Lots of hard things that have happened in her family.
2026 has been doing some stuff. And so I'm very appreciative of all of the work and learning of the last couple of years because I can't imagine having to have done this like from where I was before. So huge wins and like appreciation for myself for everything that I've done. Before, like being around all of that would have just completely taken me over. So big growth. And I think a lot more to come.
If chronic dysregulation is something that you are recognizing in yourself, and you have things that you really want to achieve, whether it's big goals or you want to find your spark, you want to find some peace, I really hope you consider Calm AF Life. We recalibrate your nervous system. I teach you how to find what works for you, and then we just practice only that over and over and over. So peace isn't something you earn when you finally settled everybody down. It's something you experience because your system isn't on duty 24/7. Calm AF Life will be opening a new and improved version in just a couple weeks. We just have so much fun in these calls. We're connecting. We're encouraging each other. You will be hearing from clients who are in Calm AF Life, but when I tell you that the women who show up, they are changed for good, for real, for life, not just this temporary blip where they felt better for a little while. I'm not exaggerating. When you learn how to regulate and stay regulated on demand, that's when you will actually achieve peace, confidence. That is only on the other side of a dysregulated nervous system. You've got to get regulated and recalibrate your system. And that is what we are doing in Calm AF Life. I highly recommend it. All right. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your week. I hope that I see your name on that interest list. Happy Lunar New Year. As I have been saying for the last couple days in my head, giddy up, Firehorse. Everything's changed. We are in a new era. We are here. We are here, and the good people are taking over. So, yay. All right. Thanks for listening. See you next time.